What's up? Hey, everybody. How are you tonight? I I was in a massive Delphi hole for the past month. Um Many of you already know, like I have been interested in most of my people know that I've been a Delphi person for years and years and years and years. And like I'm in a book about it. Like I it's one of my, how you have those cases that are just like grip you? I'm sure we all have them, right? Oh, RLA. That's so sweet. Um, and of course, Yogi is very upset in the background. Hopefully, you guys, he's not too much. But anyway, you know how you have those cases that like just grip you? Like they, oh my God, I have 200. Oh, it doesn't go past 200 slides. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh, that's terrible. That's okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to share the raw file. Yogi, bro. All right. Anyway, I've been in a massive Delphi hole for the past month, and oh, you guys, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to say. I've been waiting, 7 years. I mean, I'm just one person. I'm obviously not affected like the family is, I mean, let's be real. I don't got to take him out. He just doesn't like when I talk unless it's to him. And if I'm talking, my dog is just like really upset. He wants me to be sitting down on the couch holding him. He's my mom's dog and she passed and he's just a brat. So anyway, Delphi, that's where I've been. I've been creating this and right now I'm at 260 pages. I mean, it's a lot, you guys, right? So here's what I want. I thought it would be fun, not fun, but I don't really know what other word to use. I thought it would be fun to let's pick a new case, right? And also talk about like Sebastian and, pick up on where we left off. Obviously, I'm not giving up on those, but I need a new Delphi. right? And I thought it would be interesting if we did it together, like start from the beginning, create a spreadsheet, start logging everything. I would maybe share some tools that I use with you guys. We could do it together, like from the very, very beginning. You wasted a lot of time on Delphi? What do you mean, Cricket? Well, here's my thing with Delphi. I feel because it was a closed hearing, and there was no press, like, in the courtroom, like, airing the trial. There was no audio, there was no cameras. We didn't get anything. The only thing we would get is, like, the morning break updates, right? We would get the morning break updates, lunch updates, and so you have to rely on other people, okay? You have to rely on other people's interpretation of what was said, right? And over time, people get biases, and this is not a judgment against anybody. We're humans, like, you know, that's how it's gonna be. So depending on who you're listening to, I feel like shapes what your thought process is, right? And until we get the transcripts from that trial, which I imagine we'll get once the appeal is filed, that will kick off, like, automatic transcript generation, then we can start, fundraising. I'm sure there's gonna be fundraising, um, to get the transcripts. I feel very incomplete with this verdict. I do. Um, I feel very incomplete with it. But, there's a lot of really good, content out there about Delphi. I mean, I'm just one person. I've created this little, well, not little, it's 260 pages right now, presentation on the deliberations. I mean, I have the testimony of, people who were hi, Angel. Hi, everybody. Who were, you know, witnesses and experts, and, I have links to the source and everything, like, you know what I mean? But I just feel very incomplete, and I don't know that if I was on the jury, hearing what I heard, I don't know that if I was on the jury, I would have been able to say he's guilty, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling. It's not up to me anyway. It's not up to me, like, who cares what I think, right? It's not up to me, it's up to the jury, and I have to respect their decision. But there were so many things that just left so many questions. The crime scene doesn't make sense, um, like, at all. The DNA doesn't make sense. Nothing seems to make sense. Um, and I just feel very incomplete about it. Let me show you. There's a creator on here named, Criminality, and I've been following her for a long time, and she created this DNA spreadsheet. It's great, and I'll put the link. Actually, let me get the link to her channel. If I'm gonna share another creator, I want to share their channel. Criminality. She's great. Her name's Teresa. She goes by that. I'm not doxing her or anything like that. This is her channel right here. So if you wanna subscribe to her, she's fantastic. She does all kinds of different true crime. She's, like, kinda like me. She just does everything. Um, and she created, like, this DNA spreadsheet, and, there's just so much that's just not tested that, they this unconfirmed or, unknown male, sorry, I couldn't think, not enough for a profile, 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 not enough for analysis, not enough for a profile. Um, and then, these hairs that haven't been tested, and I don't know, you guys, I'm feeling very I am using Google Docs, Cricket. And that's the other thing too I thought would be kind of interesting to do is if we started a case from scratch, right? I could show you how to do all this stuff, like, at the same time. Not you specifically, but people, right? Um, because it does help to have this stuff organized, you know? So I thought that would be kinda Oh, thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I forgot about that. Thank you. So there's Yeah, Google Docs. So this is a Google spreadsheet, and then these are slides, Google Slides. Um, yeah. Me too, Tails. I'm Here's the thing, I am very much a person who believes authority, right? Like, if authority, the state is saying they have evidence that this person did something, I'm like, "Okay, they've got something, right? They've got something." And I just did not feel like that they did with Delphi. I just didn't. I really didn't. So, I just thought it would be fun not fun, I hate using that word, but, I mean, this stuff is fun for me to talk about and log and categorize and figure out, like, I like doing this kinda stuff, so I just thought it would be fun to do it with you guys, right? So, we need to, like, troll for cases, and I thought maybe starting over from scratch with Idaho would be good, but there's so many people doing Idaho. There's so many good creators, like Melissa Jade is just fantastic, and she's doing Idaho a lot. She's doing Wade Wilson right now, but she's fantastic. What did she know? Both? Oh, are you talking about the Flora fire? What are you talking about, Cricket? Stephanie Thompson. That name doesn't sound familiar at all. I don't know that name. Um, but there's so much to dig into with Idaho, right? That it would be it would be a good case to start from scratch because there's so much to log. And they're petitioning for a Franks hearing, which is super interesting and is very reminiscent of Delphi for me because Delphi petitioned for a Franks hearing too. Which, by the way, in Idaho, I think they might have a shot. I think they might have a shot. There's an argument to be made. A Fourth Amendment violation occurred. Oh, she did the polygraph. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. There were a couple police officers who died during that case. Karen Reed. See, now Karen Reed would be interesting too. She would be interesting, but there's so much turmoil in that case. Like, I kind of want to stay away from the fucking trauma. And it's like, I just don't know if that would be a good one to get into. But we can. I think that would be very interesting. Maybe we could do both. Maybe we could do both. Evansville, Iowa would be a good one. Okay. There's a new one. Have you guys heard of Mercedes Vega? Mercedes Vega was just a beautiful, beautiful girl. She was basically abducted from her parking garage by somebody, and she was, taken in her car, and, like, the person poured bleach do shot her in the arm, poured bleach down her throat, and set her on fire. And he was just arrested. The guy that they're suspecting did it was just arrested. It was open for a while. Yeah, let's get into Frank's. You know what? Actually, let's do, Frank's is so interesting, you guys. Let's do Frank's motion. A Frank's motion is when they're basically saying law enforcement fibbed or was not, entirely forthcoming when Hi, Gina. What's up, girl? A Frank's motion is when the defense is saying the state or the police officers, the affiant, right, lied or was untruthful in some way when they when they applied for a search warrant. And so therefore, anything found in it's the fruit of the poisonous tree, right? Anything found from that PCA is gotta be thrown out. And in Idaho, they're saying because the FBI told the police your suspect is Bryan Kohberger from the IGG, the investigative genealogy stuff, that DNA belongs to Bryan Kohberger through the IGG, right? And they didn't include that in the PCA, that everything they found from the search warrants is null and void. I did see that. Yes, they denied her parole today. Yes. I was gonna talk about that, but fuck that bitch. She can rot in hell. I felt bad for her, the father. I felt bad because it was pretty emotional for him, obviously. And now he's gotta go every 2 years and talk about that. Jessica Chambers of Pandola. Here's the one thing too, I don't wanna do a kid. I don't wanna do a case involving a child. Delphi and Gina will attest, it's been too much. The past 7 years, these are children. It's just been too much. And, Sebastian, it's just like, I can't handle another kid. Like, it makes me feel too, I don't know, like a pariah. I just it's tough. It's really tough. Elijah, I know, and Elijah's one I'm very interested in. Elijah's one I'm Hi, Pen Pen. Elijah's one I'm definitely very interested in. And of course, we are doing that. Heinze and I have been creating a spreadsheet for Elijah. It's very robust. She created a map. It's incredible. But yeah, the kid cases are hard. They're really hard to dig into. I thought about Lisk, maybe the Long Island serial killer. There's also the serial killer out of what's that state? Somebody sent it to me today. Let me go look. Do, do, do. Wesley Brownie. He was arrested 2 years ago, and he killed at least 7 people. And he was arrested while he was on the hunt for another victim, and he still hasn't gone to trial. I just don't know how interesting that one's gonna be. Oregon, okay. So I just thought, like, some of those cases might be interesting. Again, Idaho is obviously going to provide a lot of content, like, in the terms of, like, a spreadsheet and documents and graphics and things like that. There's a lot of things that we can do together on that case. There's probably a lot in Lisk that we can do together on that case, because the goal isn't just to talk about a case. The goal is to show, like, how to work these tools, right? And I thought it would also be interesting if, when I do go live, is to show you guys, like, a tool of the day, right? Like, "Hey, there's this really cool tool I found. Here's what it does, and here's how you can use it." And I thought, like, if the best way to show people how to use these tools is to actually do it, like, live, right? Like, and have it produce a result. So, I thought that would be interesting. Oh, there's Peach. Hey, Peach. You guys know Peach. What's up, girl?
What's up? Sorry I'm late.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're totally fine. Idaho is good, yeah. A lesser covered case, right? On which one, Cricket? Look into Atlin's show, missing since September of 2022. Her kids were told she went to work on a cruise ship. Oh, wow. Okay. That one's interesting. I'll write that one down. Atlin? Is it Atlin? Okay. So, yeah, Idaho would be very interesting. Today, Peach, the defense got the news that they are not removing the death penalty. Did you hear that?
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about the death penalty real quick. I made this thing. Let me get it real quick. Talking about the DP. Can you guys see that okay? Let me make it bigger. Hold on, okay?
And hi, everybody. I'm on my phone, so I can't really comment. But
Oh,
hi.
you're good, honey. You're good. Actually, let's oops. Accidentally. Let's make the font bigger instead of making this bigger. And that way you guys can see it. Okay. It's kind of silly. Let me show it again. I went and read this study about the death penalty in Idaho last year. Yeah, you know what's funny is I looked at the date on this file. It was created a year ago tomorrow. I did this a year ago tomorrow.
This is the stat one, right?
This is the stat one. This is really interesting, you guys. This study, and I'll link it if anybody's interested. This study looked at all murder cases from June 2002 through the end of 2019 for 17 years. They took all the cases of murder cases, and of those murder cases, 155 of them were eligible for the death penalty. All right. And of those 155 cases, only 32 actually got pursued. Okay, so that's only 20%. So 20% of eligible cases got pursued, which is 32 cases. Of those 32 cases, 23 of them pled. They ended up pleading. So there was no trial. So over 70% of cases, they were just like, fuck it, I'm guilty, right? Probably to take the DP off the table, right? Because it's usually sometimes it's a bargaining tool for the state. Like,
sure. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I think this is very interesting.
It is interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very interesting. Oh my God, May. Thank you. You don't have to do that. All that does is give you access to my Discord. And wait, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, that was so weird, all it does is give you access to my Discord. So if you're already in Discord, you don't need to. Thank you, though. Thank you. Oh gosh, bingo. Okay. So of those 32 cases, so only 20% of cases, right? Of those 32 cases, 23 pled. Teresa, I was just talking about you. You guys, please, I was just talking about you. I was like, please go follow Teresa. She's so good. And I put your channel in the link, or your whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Is that criminality?
Yeah,
Criminality?
She's
Okay.
the Delphi creator. I always blab
okay,
about.
cool.
That's so good. Yeah, her ears,
Awesome.
they were ringing. I was just going over Teresa, some Delphi stuff, and I had pulled up your DNA spreadsheet, and I was like, go follow her. Okay, so the death penalty, right? So of those 23 cases that pled, there were 9 remaining. Okay, so they only have 9 cases that move forward with a trial with death penalty on the table out of the 155. All right. Of those 9 cases, the state dropped the death penalty in 2 of them. Right? They dropped the 2 of them. Which is fascinating. So only 12% of all the cases that they had in Idaho were given the death penalty. 4
Mhm.
cases out of 155 that were eligible, 32 that they pursued. It's interesting. It's
It's very
interesting.
interesting.
Now, I will say, I don't know. Let me get the link to this study. It's called narrowing death eligibility in Idaho, an empirical and constitutional analysis is the name of the study. And it's like a scholarly article. It's very boring, but I read it. I sacrificed. There it is. You guys can obviously do whatever you want with it. But I thought it was really interesting that, the death penalty is rarely pursued. And so when they are filing it and they are pushing for it, it's kind of like, oh shit, but it was denied today. I haven't read the ruling from the judge yet, but I just got news that it was denied. So they are moving forward with the death penalty. I personally am against the death penalty, and it's okay if you're not. Like, we can totally disagree with that and like still be cool, right? Like, we can totally
Yeah.
still be cool. I just know it's not a deterrent. It costs a lot of money, and with how often the state has been wrong, in these things, I just don't really like the idea of the state having the ability to kill people. It's just not my
Yeah,
thing.
I agree. I'm kind of on the fence there, but I mean, I think for me, there would have to be solid. Well, I understand where you're going with it. There would have to be some solid, evidence without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
It's just
so
not
much.
it's just not for me. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I just don't like giving the state that much power, and that boils down to the Franks motion now. The Franks motion in Idaho. It's so crazy. As soon as I read that they filed the Franks motion, I got like chills because I was like, "Oh my god, it's fucking Delphi all
So
over
did
again."
I, and I've only heard about it, so I haven't had a chance to really look at it. I skimmed over it a little bit,
I
but
think they
so
might
I'm
have
here for it
something.
for you to talk
I
about
think
it.
they might have something. I really do. I think they might have something with this. Their argument is that the state violated Bryan Kohbergers' Fourth Amendment rights, which is, unlawful search of seizure.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. I think they might have something. But again, I'm a big fan of like Bob Motta. Okay. I've listened to Defense Diaries for a really long time. And he really has a way of like shaping my damn opinion. Okay. Like, he's really good at convincing me through his argument that this is a broad overreach from the state, that this IGG is dangerous. It's dangerous for us as Americans, and it's kind of like a slippery slope. Exactly, Joanna. Exactly. Oh, by the way, she created really good graphics for Delphi. um she took Teresa's DNA spreadsheet and visualized them. It's phenomenal. Yeah, definitely follow Defense Diaries. And I also really like to follow, people that are very pro-state because I want, like, a balanced view, right? So for Delphi, I listened to Murder Sheet, and I listened to, like, Andrea Burkhart, who is a phenomenal defense attorney, and Bob from Defense Diaries, because I wanted, like, a really good, like, balanced opinion because, like I said, we didn't get anything. We got no audio, no visual, nothing. We got nothing for Delphi. So we had to rely on people who were in the courtroom. And the people who were in the courtroom were, thank God, lawyers. Like, thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you tagging me? What do you mean? All right. So anyway, I'm kind of fucking all over the place right now. But I've been gone for a month. Like I said, I was in a Delphi hole. I didn't make any content. I was just literally watching everybody. It is done well, right, Pen Pen? She did a great job. She did a phenomenal job. And it's very helpful, right? And I have it. I have it in my thing. I put it. Oh, I only got it 200. This, you know what?
I think you're
And
doing a fine job. You're doing good. You're doing fine.
oh, no, I'm fine. It's just my Google slide will only show 200 slides, but I've got, you know, I've
All
got
right.
250. So these are the just a warning, a trigger warning. I'm going to be showing visualizations of a crime scene. It's a cartoon, but it's still, I don't want anybody freaking out. So this is a visualization of the Delphi crime scene. And what she did was she took Teresa's criminality's DNA spreadsheet that I showed you guys, and she visualized where the DNA was on the girls and their clothing. So like the pink is all Abby, the green is the unknown male, and where the DNA was found on the items that were found in the creek and the items that were at the crime scene. Like, she did a great job. And these are the kinds of things that I was hoping that, we can do together with a different case, right? Like, from the beginning. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I definitely tried to listen. I listened to Murder Sheet, and he's a lawyer. So, yeah. It is so good, right? She did such a good job.
It's very good. And it's
She did a great job.
it's good.
And on my little thing, I have credit to her up here. This is her Twitter account. I'm going to link it in chat so that you guys can follow her on Twitter. Because I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. There you go. Yeah, Joanna, I was thinking about that. Like, probably on the items, well, maybe on this slide, the DNA one, right? With the girls, because that's where the phone was, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was under Abby, right? So, yeah. But they found, like, a mixture, right? They found a mixture of DNA on the phone. There wasn't a single source of DNA on the phone, like they found with Bryan Kohberger. I have a case that I'm so curious on your thoughts on. That's okay, Socks. Go ahead. Listen, I'm not formal in any capacity. I didn't come prepared for this live. I was just like, let's just go live and talk shit. Armadillo. I love that. Yeah,
I'm looking
Armadillo.
at her Twitter now.
Yeah, Armadillo. I could see how if you just listen to one person, you could definitely be swayed. West Memphis 3. I was very into West Memphis 3. That was one of the first cases I ever got involved with online. I was in chat
Me
rooms
too.
early on.
Remember when I got involved in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
That was honestly the first. I joined the mailing list. It was a listserv mailing list. So every day you would get an email, and it was just you were too? Okay, so then you know what I'm talking about, the listserv.
Mm-hmm.
And I really I don't think they were involved. And, of course, they're out with an Alford plea, but the state of Arkansas is not looking for the killers because they pled guilty with an Alford plea. So, Indiana, I have always believed in police work. I've always believed, they do a good job. Seeing how bad things were in Delphi has really changed me a lot. That's okay, Pam. We can disagree. Listen, I welcome the disagreement. I really do. So the FBI, unfortunately, didn't do anything wrong in Delphi, as far as I know, because they got kicked off the case by Doug Carter, who's the superintendent from the Indiana State Police. So, I mean, I don't think the FBI did anything terrible in here. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I do too, Mia Corazon. I do too. I wish we got. Here's what I know. When the appeal gets filed, because they are going to appeal, Richard Allen is going to appeal. When the appeal gets filed, that's going to automatically kick off the transcriptions or the transcripts. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to just download them. They're going to need to be purchased by someone and released. That
Right.
someone is probably going to be a bunch of people, a bunch of true crime people, probably like us, contributing to one person who's going to buy it and then release it to everybody.
Right.
Delphi and Karen Reed, right. Hi, Suze.
Hi. Yeah, I'm really interested to see all that when it comes out.
Before you got here, Peachy, we were talking about like sometimes like these cases just grip us, right? And that was Delphi for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you probably have one that you really, have bit your teeth into. And I was talking with everybody here, the community here, and I was trying to explain, like, I would like to find a new case to really like grit, our teeth into, or starting over from scratch with Idaho, creating a spreadsheet, start logging all the warrants, showing people how to read. This is when the warrant was asked for. This is when it was served. This is when it was returned. Like from start to finish.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
We could do Idaho and Karen Reed if we want. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, like a lot of people already have a lot of knowledge about Idaho, but a lot of people don't. Like Cricket's I see Cricket everywhere. She's all over the place. She's in a bunch of different channels. She definitely follows true crime. She definitely likes case talk, but she doesn't know a lot about Idaho, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and maybe we should do the Idaho thing. Maybe, yeah, because you're right. I mean, with other people that we have gotten to know in the last 6 months, they didn't know anything about Idaho either.
That's true. That's very true.
So people are, interested in it and don't know much about it, and I mean, and now we have really. I know August seems like it's a long way away, but it's really not.
It's really not.
It's really not.
Maura Murray.
Now would be the time.
Yes.
To do
Maura Murray. Yes, I have a lot of interest in Flora. I do believe criminality is going to be covering Flora. And I would definitely defer to her in that case. And I did link her in chat earlier, but it's just criminality on YouTube. She's already very, very well versed in Flora. Yeah, a lot of people
now
don't.
that's not one I'm familiar with, so I might have
Flora. The Flora fire is connected to Delphi. Well,
the Flora. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's connected to Delphi.
Okay.
It's like a sub.
I'm a little familiar.
Yeah.
There's some question there.
There's some question, right? It's like right around the corner from an alternate suspect's home, and
right. Yeah,
the white
I do
supremacy
remember that
thing.
now.
Yeah. I don't really want to get too much into it, but
sure.
Again, I do believe criminality is going to be covering that. I'll have to check, but I feel pretty confident.
Well, I'd love to follow her to watch that if she does, for sure.
Well, Cricket, I am definitely unbiased. I think they have the right guy. Okay, Cricket, I think they have the right guy, but they might not. It's on the short list. Okay, good. Okay, good.
I think the good thing about us is that we're, we all have kind of different feelings about that kind of thing too, but we're also able to really talk it out and respect that. And I think some people, that we normally do these lives with probably do believe that he is, and some of us probably don't. Or, like you said, I hope they have the right person.
Right, but
I want to have faith.
We don't. I thought. Okay, so when Richard Allen's PCA came out, and I'm sure criminality can attest to this, it was on. Well, first of all, it was sealed. It was freaking weird. But then when it finally did come out, we were like, everybody that followed Delphi was like, "What?" It was only like 8 pages, and the only thing they had, The only thing they had, from what I remember, was that they said Richard Allen said he was there at the time, right? He was there from 1:30 to 3:30 or something,
Right.
and this unspent cartridge. So with Delphi and Richard Allen, it was just kinda like, "Well, I don't know." Like, "What do you mean an unspent cartridge?" I had never heard of ballistics testing on an unspent bullet ever. I had never but I'm
I
sure it's
hadn't either,
happened.
and I feel like
I
we
had
talked
never heard of
about
that.
that too because
We
we
did
were
talk about
trying to,
that.
and that we even kind of looked it up to see because we were just, yeah.
When the Franks motion came out in Delphi, we were doing a lot of Delphi content back then, and
We were talking about
we
it
were
a
talking
lot.
about the PCA quite a bit, and
Hmm.
I just well, you know what's weird, Suze, is DNA only exists in, like, 10% of cases. It's not very common to have DNA.
Yeah,
So
I read that the other day, or not the other day, it's been a little while, but that only 10% of cases are prosecuted on DNA evidence
yeah,
alone or something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus on Idaho moving forward. We're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna create a spreadsheet together. I already have one, but we're gonna do it from scratch. All right. I'm gonna show you the tools we use to create all this stuff. I'm gonna teach you guys how to read the search warrants. And you might already know. And I'm not, like, talking down to anybody, like, I'm not, like, teaching you fucking science or anything like that, like, I'm just gonna show you, like, how to read, like, when the search warrant was asked for, when the search warrant was delivered or served, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
when the requester got the evidence back. We're gonna start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it.
Looking up the codes in some of these
Yeah,
too
looking up
to
some
kind
of the
of see what.
codes,
Hmm.
right, like, what the codes all mean,
Hmm. I think
and
it's a great idea.
I do too, and the oh, Gina, they have to be. I can't imagine. I can't imagine they won't.
What do you think about that? I know we're going back and forth, but what do
We're
you
all over the
think
place.
about just the updates that we got in regards to those confessions? I, from what
Well,
the one I feel like the one to the mom, maybe that's the one that
no, the one to his psychologist is the one that I think did it.
really.
Yeah, so Richard Allen, you guys, was arrested and he was sent to prison. He wasn't sent to jail. They did a safekeeping order and said for his safety, he needs to be, like, in solitary confinement with, like, companions, right?
Hmm.
Kind of. So they sent him to a maximum security prison without being convicted of anything. He's an innocent man in prison, which is wild for even and of itself.
Hmm.
While he was in prison in solitary confinement, and he didn't have representation too, he kept asking for a lawyer and, like, delay after delay after delay after delay. While he was in prison and in solitary confinement, he kind of lost his mind. Well, as one would, right? Like,
Yeah.
as one would kind of lose your mind. And he started seeing a psychologist named Dr. Walla. And Dr. Walla, um, in conjunction with people who can actually prescribe medicine, put him on Haldol. And I hope I'm saying that right. Haldol,
Hmm.
whatever. But
Hmm.
it's like a psychotropic, like, drug. And I've never been on it, but my understanding of it is that you kind of come incoherent, and while you might have been having, like, psychotic episodes, it sort of, like, makes you catatonic and just kind of not good, all right? I don't really know how to explain it, but you guys know what I mean. It just makes you not good.
Hmm.
And his confessions initially were insane. They were like, "I killed Abby and Libby, because if I didn't, a nuclear war would start." They were all very, like, surface level. "I killed Abby and Libby, and I never cheated on a cigarette." They were just crazy, all right? Then there was a confession right after he received discovery. All right. And discovery, you guys know what discovery is. It's the evidence against you.
Right.
He confessed to Dr. Walla, and it was a different kind of confession. It was deeper. It was told in order. It didn't sound crazy. It was, okay, I went to my mom's. My sister came over. I didn't go to lunch with them. I decided to go to the trails. So I stopped and got some beer. I drank 3 beers. I went home and got my jacket. I went to the trails. I saw the girls, decided to that I was going to sexually assault them, took them under the bridge, got spooked by a van, crossed the creek, killed the girls, covered them with sticks, and left, lived my life. That was the confession.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it
I
was so,
remember hearing about that. Is that the same one where he talks about the rounds, maybe where they fell?
oh yeah, he said he was on the bridge when he said he fiddled with the gun on the bridge and told them to go down the hill. Well, we know that the cartridge was not found on the bridge. The cartridge was found at the crime scene in between the 2 girls, right?
Right.
Okay,
And
but the problem is that it was in chronological order, and it was a story. Like, it was from start to finish. There was a beginning, there was an end. And that isn't something that people who are having like a psychotic episode do. But here's the problem with that. Dr. Walla is compromised. Dr. Walla is a true crime junkie about Delphi. She
uh-huh.
was in
Did I?
Facebook groups, and she was following true crime creators that talked about Delphi. And we have evidence of a couple different YouTube creators talking about this van that she was watching. So there's this big cloud of suspicion that Dr. Walla was in communication with a couple different content creators. I'm not going to say who, because it's not, I don't know. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. That's not what I'm here to do. That they were in communication, and Dr. Walla told these content creators about, no, opposite. The content creators were in communication with her and somehow and said, oh, here's the other thing, you guys. She admitted on the stand that she talked to Richard Allen about things people were saying online.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like that should have been,
So
for me that's kind of a big thing.
It is a big thing.
It's
and there's a lot of people in the Delphi community, I'm just going to call it that are, the community is very split. You either think Richard Allen is guilty or you don't. And if you don't, you're basically saying, I can't, the Dr. Walla and, this white van has been mentioned on social media for years. And, she admitted she was telling him things people were saying online, and he embedded that into the confession. Additionally, we don't even hear the confession. There's no audio. We don't even know if she made it up. Like, we have no idea. So you're on one side or the other. And it's unfortunate, because I would say it's probably a good 65-35 split. Most people think he's guilty, but there's the 35% that don't. And I find that a lot of the people in the 35% club are better critical thinkers. I hate to say it.
Here's my question. I think I asked this the other day, and I think you even said, what was your question? And I got sidetracked in that anyway. The van, it was mentioned it for like years prior to that, correct?
Yes.
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 So before
not a lot,
but
a lot. Before his arrest, yes. Before his arrest, yes.
Before
absolutely.
his arrest. So I think that's interesting that was public knowledge, had been discussed in certain areas, and he had not been arrested yet. I don't really know if he kept tabs on the case and things on social media very much. But I feel like it's possible maybe he got maybe he got the information that way. And her.
The jury got a hold of his Google searches, and he did look, but here's the thing. If you live in a small town of 3,000 people At some point, you're gonna Google search, "Hey, have they found the killer in Delphi yet?"
Yeah, I agree.
And it's very clear from his Google searches that he was looking up, like, a movie to watch, but they used it against him. It was really, I don't know, you guys.
Yeah, I don't. I think
It
they
just
did
leaves me
too.
very, very uneasy feeling, and I I don't I would love if they have the right guy, because I really, 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 really want justice for these girls, and I've been so invested in this case for so long. You guys, this happened in 2017,
Hmm.
and I became interested in this case probably about 2 or 3 weeks after it happened, and it was initially called the Snapchat murders,
Yeah.
and, there were, like, Facebook groups and figure out who the bridge guy is, because they released a picture of the bridge guy immediately, and then a couple years later, we got the video. And that's another thing too, we still don't see the video, like, we have got to see all this stuff, and it's all under the family is still under gag until he gets sentenced, which is happening on December 20th.
Hmm.
I don't know, there's
I don't
just a
know.
lot, you
I feel
guys.
a little uneasy about it, but then I also feel like, okay, I feel like there was a good jury, and it'll be really interesting to see all of the things aside from just getting the daily reports once all that comes out.
Right.
And I'm just, there's still hope there that they really were very mindful, and they really, it seemed like a good jury, and that they got it right. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but we're still just kind of in limbo, I guess. Well, for me
we
anyway,
are. We
you
absolutely
know.
are. So I'm gonna play this real quick, and it's just a 1-minute video about what a Frank's motion is. It's very simple and easy to understand, but you guys had asked what a Frank's is, and because we're gonna be going and discussing Idaho, we gotta just get into that. Okay, so let's just watch this real quick.
Criminal defense lawyers often challenge the sufficiency of facts in an affidavit supporting a search warrant. But can a defendant challenge the veracity of such an affidavit? The United States Supreme Court considered that question in the 1978 case of Franks versus Delaware. Cynthia, a woman in Dover, was sexually assaulted by a man who broke into her home and threatened her with a knife. She reported to police that the assailant had worn a white knit thermal undershirt, a brown
Can you guys hear that okay? I just wanna make sure.
I can.
You can? Okay.
How about you
leather
guys?
coat, and a dark knit cap. Investigators quickly focused on Jerome Franks, who'd been arrested regarding a different assault and who'd possibly incriminated himself in Cynthia's attack. In an affidavit seeking a warrant to search Franks' apartment, the investigators said that Franks' supervisor told investigators that Franks regularly wore a white knit thermal undershirt, a brown leather jacket, and a dark green knit hat. The magistrate granted the warrant, and a search of Franks' apartment revealed evidence tying him to Cynthia's attack. Before trial, Franks moved to suppress the evidence from the search, claiming that his work supervisors would testify that they never spoke to the investigators. Franks also claimed that the affidavit mischaracterized what his supervisors did tell other officers. The trial court held that defendants couldn't challenge the truthfulness of statements in a search warrant affidavit. The court admitted the evidence from Franks' apartment, and he was convicted. The Delaware Supreme Court affirmed, agreeing that criminal defendants had.
So the court said, you can't tell me the police are lying in this affidavit. They're affiants. They're sworn. They're not lying." So he lost, right? And it went to the Delaware Supreme Court, and he lost again.
Have no right to challenge the veracity of statements in search warrant affidavits. Because different state and federal courts disagreed on this issue, the United States Supreme Court granted cert.
So does that make sense? That makes sense, right? You guys understand what that is now? So here's the thing though, Frank's motions are kind of rare. So when it popped up, so Richard Allen asked for a Frank's hearing too. And so when it popped up in Bryan Kohberger, I was like, "Oh my God." And it's interesting because the Frank's motion in Delphi is how we learned a lot of details about the crime scene, like, officially. But of course, that didn't happen with Bryan Kohberger. We didn't get any of those details that we've been waiting for. But let's talk about that really quick. Let me get, where's my drive at? Cases, Idaho, docs, Frank's hearing. Here we go. There it is. I have way too many things open right now. My screen is very upset at me. Share screen. Window. There it is. Why does it look like that? Does it look weird to you guys?
It looks good to me. I'm actually
Okay.
trying to pull it up on my laptop too, but it's not.
So the Franks motion in Idaho was 100 and something pages, 130 so pages. This one's only 2 pages. We didn't get anything. But there it is. Motion for Frank's hearing. Comes now, Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and moves the court to conduct a Frank's hearing. This motion is made pursuant to the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, Article 117 of the Idaho Constitution, and Franks v. Delaware, which we just went over. A proffer and exhibits are filed contemporaneously in support in accordance with States v. Fisher. The parties stipulate to the sealing of the proffer and the exhibits. So a proffer is offer of proof. It's an offer of, it's basically evidence. Here's our evidence that the police or the affiant who signed and swore an oath to the court that the PCA is correct is lying. Or lying might be too harsh of a word, being deceitful. They either left exculpatory information out and only included the inculpatory information, but here's our offer of proof. Right. Yes, I agree, Cricket. It is a game. It's not, yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily about justice. It's a game. The under seal proffer and exhibits are being provided to opposing counsel and court staff via email on the date of this motion. Hand delivery to the court for in-person filing will occur no later than November 18th. So, yeah, that's the Frank's motion. And they're asking to get rid of so much. They're everything from basically his home, his apartment, the parents' home, his persons, meaning his DNA when they swabbed him and arrested him, his Amazon searches, his AT&T, his cell phone, the AT&T tower dump, the search of his car, everything. And we'll get into these these motions from like Amazon is very interesting. Here's what I think. I think that there's shit on that Amazon. I think there's like really inculpatory information in that Amazon account they want thrown out. I don't know what. I'm not saying he bought the knife or anything there like that, but there's something there that they definitely want thrown out. They don't like it. So
I've always felt like there was something. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you read each motion, and you guys, there's a bunch of motions. Let me show you how many motions there are. Can I share this without sharing too much? Let's see. I have a lot of shit on here I don't want a lot of people to see. Yeah, I can. Docs. Share. Window. Docs. Share. Let's. So these are all the motions that they have filed in with the Franks to support the evidence. So you can see it's hard to do this with one monitor. I really need to get a second monitor. I don't know why I don't have another monitor. We have the genealogy, obviously, the Amazon account, the apartment, the arrest warrant, the AT&T warrant, the cell phone data, his Google data, the pen trap trace, his in-person from Idaho, his in-person from Pennsylvania, the Hyundai, his parents' home. I have 2 of his parents' home for some reason. This is the motion denying leave. I need to get rid of that. These are all the new ones. Yeah, so he's asking to get rid of a lot of shit. He's asking you to get rid of a lot of stuff. Yes, exactly, JR. So why don't we do that then? Why don't we, moving forward, we're going to start from the beginning. We'll start at the date of the murder. We'll go back a little bit because obviously we want to build up to like what all the people were doing in the weeks prior to, and then we'll build a timeline. And we'll interweave the search warrants, because here's the thing. If you can learn how to read search warrants, you can unfold how the investigation happened. You can get in the mind of law enforcement, and you can say, okay, the first thing they did was this. Then that led them to this. That led them to this. That led them to this. That led to, you know what I mean? Like, you can get ahead of what the investigators were thinking as they were conducting the investigation. And that is super fascinating to me. That's the stuff I like. And I think that would be a really good exercise.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I really do.
So I want to show you guys one more thing. I'm going to show you guys a really cool Chrome extension. We'll go here. We'll put this back on the screen. Let me minimize that.
Sue's had a question. She was curious as to what your thoughts are on why he didn't do anything to DM.
I don't think he saw her, honestly. I really don't. I think
I don't think he did either. I think he walked right past her and didn't see her.
I don't think. Why is that doing that? Let me get a different window. That was ridiculous. Sorry, when I'm getting ready to share, I can't see the chat. Give me just a sec, guys. Let me get a new video on YouTube. We'll go back to Frank's motion. Here it is. Oops. Let me go back here. I definitely need to get a second monitor. This is some bullshit.
I've been looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this really cool mod. I'm going to put a link in the chat for it. Let me get it real quick. It's called YouTube Comment Search Extension. Let's go grab it. Copy. I'm going to put it in chat. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see stuff better. Okay. After I installed this mod. Oh, actually, this wasn't a live. Let me get a live. Let's do one of mine, because I don't want to like put another creator on and like have them get upset with me. let's do this one. Okay. So do you see down here YouTube comment search, right? And I've got comments 36, chat replay 1838, transcript 2491.
Yeah.
If I open this, you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to open in a new window, and StreamYard isn't displaying that window. Let me display that window. Hold on, let me show you what it does. Share screen. Comments, chat, the disappearance, share. It brings up the live chat from the live. So, we have a lot of problems with people pretending to be, like, say somebody came in here pretending to be body moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, like, really terrible things, like called people names or, was just being really mean to people. Well, you guys know I'm not like that. I'm not like a mean person. So you can use this mod to not only save the live chat from any YouTube you want, but it also gives you the URL of the account that made the comment.
Yeah, I see that.
Right?
Yeah.
And it also, let me stop that, present it again. Share. Go back. And it also gives you a transcript of that video. So if you wanted to, like, run it through AI, or you wanted, all the words of the person, you can save it. It's a really good mod. I've been running it for a couple months now. I definitely recommend it if you're into this kind of stuff. Wallace shouldn't have Alan, but she wasn't able. No, she wasn't. She's not a psychiatrist. She's a psychologist. And no, I never said she gave him Haldol. I said somebody gave him Haldol. She was just a psychologist. I don't think psychologists can prescribe stuff, right?
I don't think so.
No.
It's the other.
No, he was just on Haldol. Like, she was his psychologist, and he was on Haldol. Another doctor gave him the prescription. It's a really cool mod, and I want to share these kind of things at least every time I go live, like one thing that you guys can do to, like, make your life easier with tech, and this is one. This is a really good mod, especially for content creators, because you get trolls, you get people impersonating people, and, like, fights start because this creator doesn't like that creator, and they went into their live and talk shit. Well, this is a way to, and that's okay. Me, Carson, you're fine, babe. Anyway, this is a really great mod. It's called YouTube Content Search, and it's a Chrome extension. It's really great.
It is really great.
Sebastian. There's not a lot of news with Sebastian. I did update the spreadsheet with the current latest info. Not a lot is happening. I wish there was. But there's still no updates from law enforcement.
No.
There has been a lot of talk about, is it a garbage truck? And you guys know my last live, I went over all that, and I feel like it's a garbage truck. And I know that sounds crazy, but Seth and I think Chris at the beginning told us it was a garbage truck, and Seth
they both they did.
Seth even said that he saw the video, like when Pascal questioned him on it, he was like, I saw the video.
And it's a garbage truck. Yeah.
It's a garbage truck. We only see a very, very small portion of right, JR, right. we only see a very small portion of the screen, and a guy is holding the phone recording, and his hand is shaking. There's a great video. Let me get it. Actually, let me get it. Dear Terms of Service did it. It's a great video. I'm going to put a link to their channel in the chat. Oops. Don't ignore that. That's my other link. Sorry, guys. That's Dear Terms of Service. And they did a wonderful, I think, wonderful video on the house or on lights. And we're going to play a
lines up with the house across the street and above the garage where the alleged mystery sedan actually belongs, and not in the street as Mob Crew has tried to convince a lot of you that it does. I'm now going to add the unedited overlay.
See that? See that? So the light.
Yeah.
Okay, now watch.
Of the security.
Now you have to remember there's a person recording the screen, and they're holding their phone, and as they're holding their phone, they're not steady. They're kind of like moving back and forth a little bit, and their hand is shaking, like a normal person. You're zoomed in, you're going to be the phone is going to look shaky.
Camera footage and let you all see for yourselves that there are no flashlights moving around in this neighborhood, as Mob Crew has repeatedly claimed.
The lights always are a constant, like, width apart. It never changes. The only thing that changes is the person holding the phone. It's very good. They did a great job at that. I believe it was a garbage truck. And Eric Craddock, and you can go to the spreadsheet and look at that. But Eric Craddock, the sheriff, said when, asked by Nick Barris, he said, are you going to release the full video? And Eric Craddock said no. And he was like, well, if it's just a garbage truck, why won't you? And Eric Craddock was like, well, we don't know what we don't know, right? So we don't know what we don't know. And he's right. Like, maybe there is something in that video that they need to use. And does that mean there's anything with the garbage truck that needs to be paid attention to? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But it's a garbage truck. What else has been talked about a lot lately that I've seen? I don't know. It's just really about the garbage truck right now. Everybody's kind of freaking out about the garbage truck. Or is it a garbage truck? Or is it lights? Is it a garbage truck or a light? And here's the thing, you guys. I wanted to believe those were lights because that's like a lead, right? That's like a incredible lead on his whereabouts. But I do believe it's just a garbage truck. So I don't know. And it's okay if we disagree. Like, you guys, I'm not one of those people that's like, you have to agree with everything I say. I'm not at all like that. But I still think one of two things happened. I think first, the pond and Max jumping into that pond. I think it's very possible that Sebastian met somebody online or at school or somewhere, and he met with them, and unfortunately things didn't turn out the way, he thought it would, and he got taken. Or the only other possibility is something happened at the house, right? And unfortunately, in both situations, the public doesn't have any evidence of anything. The cops might, but we don't. We just don't. So the only thing we can really do is, get his face out there, keep putting his face out there. I mean, that's it. There's nothing else we can really do. Just keep his face out there. What is this?
I agree.
Yeah. That's that weird website I found. I try, Pam, you know what? I try, Pam. Like, here's the thing, Pam. Like, I have done it myself. I have gotten into the group think bubble where I only surround myself with people who agree with me, and I feel great. I feel amazing. Everything I say is validated. Like, okay, this is perfect. But it's such a bad place to be if you really want to figure things out, right? You really have to surround yourself with people who disagree with you. You really do. And you have to be able to have intelligent and respectful conversations with those people because it's only going to help you learn. So if Pam challenges me, I mean, yeah, it hurts my ego, right? But I'm growing. Who wants to stay stagnant their whole life, right? Exactly, Pam, 100%. And I don't think me or any of my friends are like that. And that's why I watch channels that I disagree with. I watch channels that I disagree with because it helps me either plant my feet firmer in my own ground or opens my perspective up a little bit.
I agree. Or it's like, oh, well, I haven't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all that's really going on with Sebastian, unfortunately. There's no new news that I know about. And I look every day. Every day I look. Even when I was working on or listening to Delphi, I was still looking for news about Sebastian.
Yeah, and confirmation bias is something that we've talked about, especially you. You've really talked about that a lot.
I did a whole...
You do.
I did a whole thing about it. A whole freaking thing about it. Like, I did a whole thing about it. Yeah, Pam, exactly. Yeah, Gina, exactly. I intentionally listen to opposing views. Sometimes it makes me angry, I will say. Not about Sebastian, but about anything. It does. I'll be like, these people are so stupid. Like, about any topic. I'm not talking about Sebastian. I'm just talking about any topic. I'll be like, these people are so stupid. But once you let your ego down a little bit, you're like, okay, everyone's just different, I guess. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing Idaho from the beginning. Yeah, Pam. Yeah. I have too. I said, like, maybe he met somebody at school, or maybe he met somebody like at a diner. I don't know, at the arcade, the bowling alley, I don't know, somewhere. Or
I don't know what I think anymore.
Maybe something happened at home and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get online and start saying, this person's guilty of killing him. That's terrible. We have no evidence of that.
I'm also kind of,
my
don't
God.
really want to support someone very much too, because you don't really know. I mean,
Right.
If they're guilty or if they're not.
Right. Could you imagine if I was like, Katie Proudfoot is the best person alive, or, whatever. And then like 4 months later, she's arrested for, that'd be terrible.
I know.
That'd be terrible.
I agree.
Absolutely terrible. Or the opposite, right? She killed him. And then somebody else is arrested. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm just not about that. Not about that. Oh my God, Mi Corazon. Remember that song? Wrapped up like a douche in the morning early light, blinded by the light.
Yes.
Wrapped up like a douche. I don't know what the words are, but that's what I sing, okay?
Oh my God. That's so perfect. That's so good.
Oh God. But I will say, with Sebastian, I find there are people on one side of the aisle that are more welcoming to opposing views than another side of the aisle. And I find myself...
I agree.
I find myself, obviously I'm more attracted to those people because they welcome me, even though I might disagree with things that they say. I feel welcome in their chats and stuff, and the other side, I don't feel welcome. I've gotten muted and banned and, like, just not welcome. In fact, I got mentioned in a fucking lawsuit or injunction. I'm a fucking Jane Doe. I think I'm Joe number 3.
Maybe.
I mean, like,
You
what?
could. You could
Yes,
be.
Cricket. Yes, I'm a Jane Doe. I'm Jane Doe number 3, I believe, in the criminal in the complaint, not the criminal complaint. I'm so used to saying criminal complaint. In the injunction. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You Jane Doe, you.
So I do feel more welcome on one side, but that doesn't mean I think, Mr. Seth did anything. I really don't believe he did. I truly don't. If anybody had anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance from the family, if I had to pick, if you put me in an electric chair and said, if you don't say a name, I'm going to turn the switch. The last person that was with him was Katie. I mean, that's it.
Well, that's kind of what I've always said too. And I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, but I do agree with your thoughts on his leaving on his own and meeting a friend that wasn't really his friend.
Right.
But then I do always
Right.
go back to that, what we know, and that she was the one at home.
Right. I mean, that's, I hope it's not true. You know what I mean? I hope that's
I
not.
hope it's not true. I hope none of them are involved.
Right. Right.
That's what we hope.
Doe. Yeah. Does. Yeah. Me and the does hanging out in our little Rico enterprise.
Doe, a deer, a female deer.
I didn't follow Letitia Staunch. Honestly, Sebastian, the case of the missing, being missing, he's the only missing child case I've ever followed. And Delphi, well, I guess and West Memphis 3 are the only kids cases I followed ever. Kids cases really bother me. My friends know I really wanted kids my whole life. I wasn't blessed with the ability to do that. And it's, when I think of a parent hurting their child, I take it personally because I wanted them so bad and I couldn't. So I get really upset. So it's, you know what I mean? Like I'm triggered, I guess is like the best word to say. I get really, really freaking triggered. So I normally don't follow cases that involve children, especially when the parent is somehow involved. So I didn't follow Letitia Staunch. Oh, really? She's an evil demon lady?
Oh, yeah, she is terrible.
Mm.
That's,
Yeah. I
Have
didn't
you
follow
followed
that.
the Lake and Raleigh stuff this week?
No, I haven't. I have not. I've been so busy at work and I really wanted to. But my understanding it was a bench trial,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting. But he was found guilty today, yeah, of everything.
Yeah.
Right? And he got
everything.
life plus 20 years, I think, or something.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
Good. I did see.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I did see. I think it was. I don't remember who I was watching, but they were talking about the case, and I had it kind of on in the background, and I kind of stopped cold in my tracks. I think it was yesterday. Somebody said that she fought for 19 minutes.
Yeah. So the 911 call was at 9:11, and the Apple Watch, her heart stopped at 9:18.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
I know. And the
I feel you,
911 call is just so. And today it was really, really emotional listening to her father, and he read her last journal entry, and It's so heartbreaking. She talked about, she prayed for her future husband, who she had never met before,
Oh,
and what she was doing, and her education, and her hopes and dreams, and, their future children. Y'all, it was just so heartbreaking.
mm.
Her plans, her dream. It was so sad. So sad.
Yeah, Cricket, that is very similar to my theory. My initial theory was, the cops or the TBI flyer said, he was last seen in the area of Stafford Court, and he was last seen on February 26th. And, they still have his switch,
Mm-hmm.
that all leads me to believe that, and the dog with the pond, and that all leads me to believe that he was lured somehow. That's very similar to mine. Bucket boy. Oh dear. Yes. Yes. Oh, gee. I wish.
Aw.
I wish. Gee, I wish
We love our babies.
I wish you were up here with
little
gee,
criminal baby.
criminal vibes. We're gonna start on Idaho soon, like this week, maybe even. From the beginning, and we're going to create spreadsheets and all the things over here on YouTube. Okay, let me do that right now. Let me do that right now, Gianna. Hold on. How do I do that again? Invite. God, I'm so stupid. Copy. Let me go to Discord. Hold on. Where are you? Where's Discord? There it is. I got it.
Court. Okay.
Yeah. She did all those channels last night, and okay, Gianna. I sent it. And I would love, and obviously I always set up my StreamYards so that you guys can stream to your channels too. So if you want to get some hours in for your monetization and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What up, girl?
Hey.
What's shaking? So G, we're gonna do Idaho from the beginning. Because there's a lot of people, not a lot, but there's quite a few people that don't know anything about Idaho. And I need something else to dig my teeth into. And I mean, obviously we've been doing Idaho for the past 2 years, but I thought it would be cool for people to learn. Like Heinzie right now is learning all about spreadsheets. Like she's working on the Elijah one, the maps, everything. Yeah, Melissa, I hear you, Melissa. Melissa, I hear you, girl. I really, really do. And that we can work on over here together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to hop in on that, Gianna, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely, I do.
I mean, I think now's the
Absolutely, I
time
do.
to do it
I do
because
too.
it's right around the corner. It seems like it's far away, but it's not. It'll be here before we know it.
And Heinzie, don't you feel, Heinzie, that you're more knowledgeable about the case now? That you've learned how to log everything and keep it organized, and it's easy to reference. And don't you find that you're much more knowledgeable about the case now that you've started doing that? And I feel like, if your answer is yes, I feel like everybody can do it, and I want to help everybody do that. Yeah, it's like comforting to know that everything's in order and in place. And maybe that's my ASD, I don't know, but it's just very helpful to have everything at your fingertips. And I thought it would be a really good community building exercise to build it together.
I think so too.
Yeah. And again, you guys, please feel free to stream. Oh, okay. What happened here? Hello?
Sorry, I hit the, I don't know, I got out on accident.
Are you still here?
Yes.
Okay, I got your other one gone.
Okay, sorry.
And I know Nikki will want to join us when she gets, back to herself, which will be soon.
Sure.
So I thought that would be a really good exercise for us to do together.
I think
then
so too.
I also want to start covering Lisk. Long Island serial killer, Rex Humerman.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know shit about that case. All that stuff happened while I was in Malaysia. And Indy's really up to speed on that, but I'm not. I don't know shit about Lisk.
I don't know. I mean, I'm usually typically really into those kinds of, but for whatever reason, that one's just been, I don't know.
Yeah, his is boring, I feel like. I don't know why I feel that way, but he's, I don't know, like, it just wasn't interesting. I mean, like, it's interesting because he killed a lot of people, but like,
So
it's not interesting. There's no like,
Right.
people thought he was weird.
Me neither,
Nobody,
Sue.
I don't know, like, you know what I
not
mean? Like,
to
he was just like a weird guy that ended up being a serial killer. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like,
Mi corazón, yeah.
not to derail it and get it off topic, but was it you, Body, the other day that mentioned something about bodies found, like multiple in a?
Oh my God.
What was that about? Because maybe
Oh
we
my
need to talk
God.
about
How did I
that.
forget that? How did I forget
yeah,
that?
there was like a
Did
whole
you
bunch of
guys
heads found.
did you guys hear about this?
No, that's why I'm asking you. You mentioned it, and then I don't think we ever talked about it. So
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
it was
I
you.
started
So
I started
you
deep diving this.
Did you popped to the Discord? You were like, guys, 10
Holy shit.
heads were found in New Mexico. Okay,
Okay,
bye.
so
Like,
in
that was it.
Jal, New Mexico, this guy named Cecil Villanueva,
Mm-hmm.
he was like hitchhiking and somebody picked him up. And as he was in the car with the person that picked him up, he started throwing bones out the window. And the guy was like, what the?
Wait a
So
second. Wait,
What?
wait, wait. The guy
I,
that picked him up was throwing the bones, or
no, the guy he picked up. The guy he picked up.
Oh, okay.
And then so the driver called the cops, right? And he was like, this hitchhiker I just picked up was like throwing human bones out. Like, I think they were human bones. So they go to where this guy is staying, Cecil Villanueva, and he had up to 20 human skulls in the house and in the surrounding area.
Oh my gosh.
So then
Did he not think that the person was going to call 911 when he was throwing skulls
I
out
don't
the
know. So then I'm like, what the hell? So of course I got to go search and I deep dived the whole thing. I went to his Facebook. I archived. I did a lot of shit on this, right? And then the cops come out and they say, well, just because this guy has 20 skulls at his house doesn't mean there's a serial killer, like whatever.
So
So I'm like,
he's the serial killer. Him, the
wait,
guy
I'm
with
like,
the bones.
what do you mean? So I went and looked. Okay, can I show you guys? Can I? Because
Please.
I am freaking out about this. I
Yeah.
totally
We want
okay.
to talk about it.
So Jal, New Mexico, human remains or human bones. Let me find these videos. Bro.
Like, I just want to know what went through his head. He was like, this seems like a good way of disposal
He's
with
like,
somebody
I
sitting
know.
right next to
Let
me.
me just throw my evidence out the window while this guy.
This guy watches me.
I mean, look at that. But look at how old it looks.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so that doesn't mean anything, does it?
Well,
I don't
okay,
know.
so then I'm like, okay, the cops are saying, don't freak out. Why would they say that? Did this
I don't
guy,
know.
does he collect them and buy them online?
Maybe
Maybe.
he's a grave robber.
But then why would he be throwing them out the window?
It's true.
That's true. I was just going to say the same thing, Melissa. A bone collector. The Bone Collector. Wasn't there a movie called The Bone Collector?
Yeah, but like, if they're collecting something, maybe like he got done collecting and just wanted to start over. I don't know.
I mean,
No.
I don't know.
It's weird.
It's weird.
That's so strange to me.
It's very strange.
It is strange,
I
right?
have questions. Like,
Me
did
too.
he do it nonchalantly? Did he try to hide it? Like,
He might
where?
as well.
How far was he from his house when you
This
picked him
just
up?
happened last week. This
He
just
might have-
happened.
He might as well have just gone to the police station and dumped it in front of the police station at that point.
Right?
Doesn't make any sense.
Let me look at that.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Let me,
That's
it's
crazy.
it's absolutely insane. Okay, let's play one of these. Let's play one of these.
Well, it's a
'cause-
case that made national headlines. 10 to 20 human skulls found, and police believe one of them could have been connected to a missing woman. Now detectives are saying, never mind.
Oh, wow.
KRQE investigative reporter Ann Perez
What?
spoke with the sheriff's office to find out what is happening in the small southeastern New Mexico town of Jal. Ann?
Well, first, we want to make it clear the Lee County Undersheriff says there is not a serial killer in town, and they
See what I mean?
no longer believe the bones found in Jal are connected to the missing woman's case.
So first they said there was this woman missing, and they said they thought one of the skulls belonged to her, and that was the last I saw about it. So this is all
And now
new
they're saying that it's not.
right.
Because the human remains were likely purchased online,
I was right.
Oh, okay.
Look at me.
which is legal.
As of right now, there's no criminal charges pending for anyone because it's appearing that there was not a crime committed.
No crime.
But why was he throwing
Wait.
bones out the window?
Wait, why would he buy them
yeah,
to just throw
that's
them
weird.
out the window? And also, where is he? There's like no crime committed. There definitely was a crime committed because there's bones. So somebody committed the crime.
Well, do you remember the poltergeist Yogi? I hear you, but you just need to chill. Do you remember the poltergeist movie at the end of all those skeletons in that pool?
No.
Those
Yeah.
were real human skeletons. They were real. They weren't plastic. Those were real. So they're
In the movie?
yeah.
What?
Yeah, but people donate their body to shit like that.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
know.
They
Weird.
do.
They used real bones of humans in Disney World on the Pirates of the
I'm
Caribbean.
really.
Did they
Right.
really?
I
Yes.
just can't get past throwing him out the window. Though. I mean, like, was he not happy
There-
with his purchase? Like, what? I don't understand.
So this is the missing woman that they thought, like the last time I went and looked at this, this thing. This is like a couple days ago, I guess. Yogi, bro, just chill, okay? Let me go get him a treat real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let's get you a treat.
I'm so confused about.
I know.
Okay. Number one, I would never just pick up a hitchhiker. But number two, can you imagine picking one up and then them like tossing bones out the window?
No. But that
had to be scary.
Like I would be trying to do like a really good deed for somebody, and that shit would happen to me. Like they're throwing bones out the window. Or some
Neho,
shit.
do they really? Neho said they have Facebook groups for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but where are they buying? Like who is?
But why
dying?
would he buy them and then throw them out a window?
You think? But where are these bones coming
don't
from?
know.
Like
I don't
somebody has
know.
to die.
But they look old.
Gianna.
And no connection to the 2019 disappearance of Angel McMains, contrary to information the Lee County.
So initially, they said it could be in connection with this woman that went missing. So it was like when I first saw this thing, I was like, "Oh my god!" And that's why I started, of course, freaking the fuck out.
I'm confused.
But anyway, I'm confused too. I truly, truly am.
I
Doesn't
am
make any
too.
sense.
That's
County
really
Sheriff's
strange.
Office.
Okay, so it says here on November 5th, an investigator with Lee County Sheriff's Office received a report involving a jail resident who had an unsettling encounter with Cecil Villanueva while offering him a ride. He reported that Villanueva, carrying 2 bags, made alarming statements and discarded objects from the vehicle, some of which appeared to be human bones. Subsequent searches near a convenience store in Villanueva's reported location revealed bone fragments later confirmed by a pathologist to be human. So, like, he buys this shit online and then he just tosses it out a window? Like, is he the craziest
I wonder.
troll in history?
I wonder if he was maybe like. I don't know why my brain just went here, but I wonder if he was like doing some kind of spell or some kind of,
Oh, maybe.
you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like some
Yeah.
kind of ritual or something like that. Maybe.
Well, that's very
So
possible
bury
because
them in your backyard. You
I
chose to
share.
throw them out the window while you were getting a ride from somebody. Like what?
Okay, I'm gonna share my
I don't
Discord
know.
really quick because this is you might be okay. Stop. Present. Share screen. Can I share Discord?
I don't
I
know.
mean, it's up
Yes, I
to you.
can. Look
Like,
at that. Okay, so this is my Discord. I even created a channel for him.
Oh, okay.
Cecil Villanueva. Look at him. Can you see that picture? Does it pull up?
oh,
Oh my
peachy.
gosh.
He
You're correct.
made like all these weird pictures and shit. Those aren't skulls.
I
Those are
bet you
rocks,
I
by the
bet
way.
you that has something to do with it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, look
probably
at
some weird cultural ritual or some shit.
it might
It
be,
could have been.
but like these are the bones, and I'm like, those look
But
old.
whose bones are they?
I
Is what
don't
I want.
know.
Like, what if that
Like,
person
look
was
at that.
murdered?
Like,
Do you
look at
understand what
that.
I'm saying?
Oh, I don't
Do you
want to show
hear
his
what
face.
I'm saying about
Yes, I
this?
do. Yes. What if this person was murdered? You're absolutely right.
That's what I mean. Where are these bones
Well, here.
coming from? They gotta come
Oh,
from someone. Unless
right. I
they're
mean, were they purchased off the black market? Like, where did he get them? Like, that's what I want to
right.
know.
And how did that person get them? That's what I want to know.
Me too. I want to know as well.
Like, is there a serial killer eBay where they're like just
Yeah.
like selling the shit? I don't.
And then they're going to go ahead and say there's no serial killer in the state.
Yeah,
Like,
they
I
don't know
even-
that.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
It's
There's
wild.
no way they tested those bones and figured out who they came from already.
I mean, as you can see, I went hog wild. I was like, what is,
Wait.
oh my God.
But
What?
okay, this is what I'm saying. If he got it, okay, he got the bones, he bought them, right? Okay, fine. He's not the one that killed people. Fine. But there's no way that they have gotten those bones, tested them, and figured out all who they belong to and it's with enough confidence to say there's no serial killer because
I agree.
there very well could be who he bought the fucking bones from. And even
I
if
agree.
it was from like a grave robber or something like that, like there's no way that they know the people that the bones belong to and what the
Yeah,
circumstance
so
was.
Cricket and Elizabeth had good points too. Maybe a crooked funeral home. I mean, that does happen, unfortunately.
Mhm. It sure
Right,
does.
but what I'm saying is that
You-
they haven't had enough time to understand that
Right.
yet.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
you're
definitely
right.
something I'm following. Like, except for that, I totally forgot about it until you guys
But
said
they're
something.
obviously not gonna get on TV and be like, "Yeah, guys, there's a serial killer." Like, I mean,
So
they don't want to
what
cause
about
panic either.
what about this lady right here? What are her circumstances? Do you know yet? Have you looked into that yet?
No, I haven't. Here's the thing. I work better. I work best when I'm working in tandem with somebody and I'm feeding off of somebody.
Uh-huh. Me
And
too.
nobody was interested. So it was just me.
Bonnie, we were interested.
It
You
caught my
literally just
attention.
You
Yeah, I just had
literally
a crazy
are in my
week.
Discord and did not pay attention to what I was saying. Like nobody
I'm
cared.
not in I'm
Yes,
not
you
ever in
are.
there. No,
Yes,
I'm in there.
I'm never in there
but
either. I'm terrible. I'm
me
terrible. I'm
too.
never in my own, okay? Like
Me
it's
either.
about to go bye-bye.
Right. Right.
I'm about to
The
leave all the
Discords
Discord
are
except for yours,
overwhelming.
though. I'm about to leave all of them except for Bonnie's.
No, don't. I'll be so upset. Don't
Why
leave
I'll
any
still
of
be
them.
in yours.
Well, don't leave any of them.
Can't handle the shit anymore.
Pansy said that
I
she
know.
lived in and disappeared from the same neighborhood as the bones where they were found.
All right, let's keep watching.
Was released 2 days ago. New video shows a detective picking up bone fragments believed to have been thrown out a car window.
See what I mean? The dude threw fucking bones out the window
Into an Allsup's parking lot. Evidence photos show more bone fragments believed to be anywhere from 10 to 20 human skulls found inside a home on South 4th Street in Jow. Deputies were led there to investigate a tip about Cecil Villanueva, believed to be squatting at the home following a fire. According to the tip, someone who gave Villanueva a ride to that Allsup's saw him with a bag of bones and told a friend. That friend called the sheriff's office because his mom went missing from that area in 2019.
It was just very ironic, most likely just coincidental that she lived across.
Does anybody else feel like this guy's full of shit? Because I kind of feel like he's full of shit.
Well,
It's
here's
just a
another
coincidence.
question. Who does the home actually belong to if he was squatting there? Who's
I
the
don't know.
who's the owner of the house?
That's a good question.
How long has he been squatting there?
You know
what I'm saying?
We can look up the property records.
Maybe he was, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he was littering the bones because he was trying. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, wait, maybe because he was living there, right? He got this like bug up his ass where he was like, well, if somebody comes here and finds me here with these fucking human skulls, I'm fucked, right? So let me get rid of them.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
But
Right.
like Peachy said, whose bones were they that they left behind? Like
I
who
don't know.
left? Like whose house fire was that? Like that's the guy we need to be talking to.
Maybe. But
yeah, who does the home belong to?
Off the street from this home that had burned.
So she lived across the street from this house.
Okay, so that's not fucking
and
weird.
She disappears in 2019. So what, 5 years ago. And I don't know how long this dude has been here, but I went to Google Maps and I found this home. And the Google Maps were updated in 2021 and the house is fucked up. So I mean it's been at least 3 years that this house has been on fire. Like, dude, this is a rabbit hole that I think we could go down. I think do.
We should. I'm really kind of intrigued. And I was intrigued when you shared it the other day. I did see it pop up and I thought it was you. This week's been crazy.
It has been. I agree.
It's been a crazy week. So,
and and here's the thing. Like, I don't I don't give a fuck anymore about any of that bullshit. All those people are fucking, I'm done with all of them.
Oh, I just meant in general, my life.
No, I know.
Crazy.
You do, Gina? Okay, I love this rabbit hole too. And like,
I do too.
So in my Discord, and if you're a member here, you have access to Discord and you can watch my members only video on how to gain access to it. There's a channel under cases called Cecil Villanueva, and everything is there that I've dumped. I've archived the guy's Facebook. I've archived a bunch of news articles. Oh, Autumn, you're welcome. I'm so glad to meet you. Yeah, I'm totally into this. Okay, let's keep watching.
And the fact that this friend who picked this man up knew of the son and knew of the disappearance.
A coincidence. So why send a press release and share with the community that detectives found 10 to 20 human skulls and one may be connected to the woman's disappearance?
Well, it's better to give out the information that we know rather than to conceal.
Yeah, but why give that family like that trauma?
Right.
Why would you do that to that poor family? You know what I mean?
I just don't know that they should have said anything until they knew for sure.
They shouldn't have. They should never have released that woman's name because now her son is like, oh my God, they found my mom. Maybe we can find out what happened to her.
Can you imagine? Sorry. It's
now they're like, oh, I think they're full of shit. I think
my bad.
I think that there's something here. Maybe. I don't know.
No, well, I think I think that there's something there.
I don't know. That's an awful big coincidence for her to be right across the street and just go missing.
Right.
Thank you. Like, really, could it be any more on top of it?
Right. And it just so happens that there's human skulls in there. But they do look old, though. That's the only thing but I don't know what new ones look like. I've never seen. You know what I mean?
I don't think they look that old.
When did this come out? When did this come out?
Like 4 days ago.
I think
so this
they're
just came out 4 days ago.
They're newer.
Yeah,
when did he start dropping the bones out of the car?
The 5th of November, so 15 days ago.
Now, Under Sheriff Michael Walker says they've since.
I mean that skull.
I mean they need an excavation crew out there. Okay.
I mean
she could still be out there.
The eyes are like calcified. Like well, maybe it's just the angle, but it looks like it's been chopped in half.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Maybe it was a buy one, get one half off deal.
Oh my God.
Learned the man who lived in the home before it burned collected human skulls.
Oh, here we go. The
Okay.
man who
Okay,
lived
wait,
there
why don't
before
we,
it burned.
why don't we, can we listen to the whole fucking thing? Because if we would have listened
Maybe
for
we
5
should
more
listen
seconds,
to the whole thing before we get all worked up. Oh my God.
we would have had the answer to our question.
We would have.
This is how we
purchased them.
roll.
Oh, see, okay. Okay, here we go.
Online. Information
False alarm.
we found the sheriff's office knew about before the press release went out. A search warrant dated a week earlier indicates an investigator discussed rumors about the homeowner being in possession of human skulls with the Jal police chief.
The reason why we're investigating it to this level is that there's no proof to show that it came from an online distributor of these types of things, because they were also damaged in the fire.
And the undersheriff tells me the Office
Okay.
of the Medical
So that's why they look that way.
Right.
That makes
We
sense.
w- If we would have just listened to the whole thing.
Oh my God, you guys. Yeah, maybe we should just listen to the whole thing instead of having all these
Right.
fucking sidebars. All right. Well, this is the rabbit holes we go down, okay? This is just what happens, okay?
So they're looking
investigator here in
into-
Albuquerque has the bone fragments, and the team is working to reconstruct the skulls. He's not sure when they'll know if the remains really were bought online or if they're connected to a different missing persons case or are ancient remains. Under Sheriff Walker expects an update next week.
All right, Ann, thank you.
All right. Oh, let's see what happened to him.
Villanueva, the man who was carrying the bag of bones, has not been charged with anything in relation to this investigation. Deputies took him into custody on Tuesday on an unrelated trespassing charge at the Allsups where those bones were found. Well, the sheriff's office is hopeful this brings attention to Angel McMain's case and that anyone with information on her 2019 disappearance will come forward.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so they're looking
Well-
into where the bones actually came from and the owner
Right.
of the previous owner, like we said.
Right.
That's what I said, Hunzy. Maybe he was like, okay, so he was squatting, right? So maybe he was
I
trying to
guess.
clean up his new trying to clean up his new home, but he couldn't afford to go to the dump. And he was littering. He just was like, oh, I'll get rid of this right here. I'll just dump it out the window. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just
But
talking.
why? But
Yeah.
he was hitchhiking. Why not just go for a walk?
Yeah.
Like it's very weird. Very, very weird.
Very. And why not just like hitchhike, ask for the guy to bring you somewhere, right? And then when you get to that place, then get rid of the bones. Like, why throw them out the window?
I want to know what weird, awkward things he was saying though. Okay, so they said he was
Well-
saying some really strange things while throwing
Right.
the bones out the window. So what was he
He was
saying?
probably,
Well,
he was
Was
probably
he
fucking with
chanting?
him.
Was he?
No,
I
he was
went-
probably fucking with him. Like, hey,
I don't know.
you know, I don't know, something like about killing somebody or something. Like, he was probably fucking with them.
Well, I went to his Facebook, obviously, and it was minutes after the story broke. So like nobody had been like commenting killer or anything like that on his post yet. And on the posts that were public, people were saying, like his friends, that people that know him were implying that he had some kind of substance abuse problem. So
okay.
maybe there's something there. And I'm not shaming him. I'm not, but
Not at all.
maybe there's something there.
Could be. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so that might be a big nothing burger, but I'm still going to pay attention to it, okay?
Well, it's still really interesting, and now I'm curious about her.
Yeah, I just can't do
It's
another
just that
missing
it's across the street. I know you can't.
I just
but
can't. I just can't do it, dude.
I used to kind of be the same way, and I don't know, for whatever reason, like I've just kind of more been. Yeah.
I don't like missing persons cases.
There's just so much pressure because like it's a family somewhere, right?
Yeah, I
That
just don't like it. I just don't find them.
it's
I
hard.
know. I
Yeah.
think because I'm kind of was the same way with you, and then I started doing the NAMA stuff,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, there's all these unidentified people, and then there's all these faces. What if these people match these faces?
Mm-hmm.
Or what if these that don't have the face are these people that need, you know what I mean? Like that's just how my brain works. So
My you guys know John Green, who was in Don't Fuck with Cats with me. He works well. One of his things that he really likes to do is the Jane Doe Project,
uh-huh.
and it's where there's like Jane Does are found that don't have identities, and he likes to try and find their identities. It's a
You know
really
what?
it's really interesting.
There's a case that I
Yeah.
studied, a serial killer that I studied. His name was the Green River Killer.
I used to be obsessed with that case.
And one of his first victims, I believe that she was a like 30-year-old Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she never got identified. And I always think about her because the other ones did get identified,
Hmm.
and she like didn't get identified. And I
Hmm.
just was like, who was this woman? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder
Yeah.
who she was. And like, it was like one of his oldest, like from as far as age, like the people
Mhm.
that he killed, she was like the oldest.
Well, he intentionally targeted people he thought nobody would care about, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
looking for like prostitutes that
Mhm.
were, but
Mhm.
like that were young, like
Mhm.
15, 16,
Right.
13-year-olds, but sometimes like
His
that
name was
were,
Gary Ridgway. Is that right? I can't
yes.
remember. Yeah, Gary. Okay.
Yeah, he he
Did you
killed a
guys
lot of people, like 107 women.
I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this, but I was talking to I think Neho and like Indy and whatnot about Bryan Kohberger because on the anniversary of the murders, the 13th, was also the same. It was the 50th anniversary of the Amityville killings. Did you guys know that?
You, s-
What?
It's
you
50
said that.
years.
50 years. So then I'm like,
Really?
yeah, the same day. And listen, this is going to be is about I'm not a conspiracy person, but let's talk about this real quick. The house was a white house with 3 stories. We lived at 112 Ocean Avenue. We know that the King Road house was 1122. It was
Mm-hmm.
the same day, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were 6 occupants of the home
Uh-huh.
in both houses.
Mm-hmm.
What were some other things? Oh, there was a dog.
Oh, you might be
Um,
on something
I
there.
might be onto something, right?
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, if you think about the other things that people talk about when it comes to Idaho and Bryan Kohberger, you can think about BTK, right?
Oh
Yep.
yeah. We talked about that.
BTK's first murder was of 4 people,
It was. It sure
The
right?
was.
family.
And 2 survivors.
Right? 2 survivors, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, just 1, I think. Was it 2?
Yeah.
I,
No, I
it,
think it was just,
I thought it
think
was
no.
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
no, it was the
It was the
family.
son. It was the son. I think
It
no,
was the
maybe it was just
son.
one. It
It
was
was the
one.
son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just 1.
It was just one.
But did BK know, or the killer, I should say, did the killer know Bethany was downstairs? Because if he didn't, maybe he left Dylan intentionally.
Maybe.
Okay.
Good
So
point.
okay.
All right.
Then you think about like Bundy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you
Mhm.
think about the
The
sorority
sorority
house.
house. Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, because the day he was arrested, I know we all talked about this. Like, is this murder, these murderers, I should say, somehow tied, have something to do with his criminology degree and like, him thinking like he's the smartest guy in the room, and like, is he pulling in like elements from his like, I hate
A
to say this word.
collaboration of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are big.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting topic that we could explore in our deep dive
I
that we're
think it's
starting,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
but Amityville, I was like, is anybody else talking about this? And I went and looked and I couldn't find anything. I was like, oh, nobody else is talking about this. That's interesting. But yeah, 50 years, 50
So
years on the day.
now I don't think, Buddy, I can't remember if you were
Oh!
really into Timothy Hazlitt Jr. or
No,
not.
no, I don't even know who that is. One thing really quick, I before I forget, the one thing though that sets Bryan Kohberger apart from all those things that he's tied into is they all confessed.
Uh-huh. Well, and then BTK did he pled not guilty until just
Right.
before the trial and then took a plea. And
Well,
then, right?
well, not only that, but you're absolutely right. And he spilled the beans, right?
He did.
Ted Bundy never confessed until the electric chair,
Right.
right? Like,
This is a reminder.
oh, hold on.
Charge my watch.
I got to charge my watch. Until, and he never really confessed. He was like, if somebody were to do this, this is probably what happened. You know what I mean? Like it was very like third person, right? Like like he just never really came out and said, I did this. He just said, if somebody were to do this, this is probably what happened. But the Amityville guy confessed. They all confessed. So maybe if there is some kind of like tie-in, maybe he'll confess.
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered about the BTK thing.
Wait a minute. Beautiful messy ball. Rex, the Lisk, right? Long Island serial killer, also grew up 2 miles from them in Amityville. And when he was a kid, it happened in Murdaugh, and Sled allegedly had ties to trafficking in South Carolina, and Rex and Ellie allegedly did in New York. Interesting.
Wow. So the Hazlitt, you are familiar with that one, and there's a murder trial coming up with it. Okay, so do you remember a couple of years ago when the woman escaped from the basement where she had been held captive
In
after she had
Excelsior.
taken, in Excelsior?
Yes.
That's who I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Very familiar with that. Yes.
Yes, that's the Timothy Hazlitt Jr. And
okay, yeah.
Yep. And so recently, I guess about a year ago, that law enforcement, they were looking for a possible witness, Janie Crosdale, to ask her questions. They thought that she would be, they found her in a blue barrel in the Mississippi River. And they've charged him, and so he's going to be going to trial for murder. I think she was one of the two friends that didn't make it.
We're definitely going to be covering that, like for sure, because when that whole thing happened, I was super into it. Like,
me too.
That was horrible.
It was horrible.
I still follow the Excelsior Springs Facebook page.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
On TikTok, because they post a lot of TikToks. So I get reminded every now and then of that case. Oh, I definitely want to follow that. What was his name again? Timothy Hazlitt?
Yeah, Timothy Hazlitt Jr.
Okay. Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, that poor girl. God.
Yeah, so he is going to be it's expected to begin December 1st of 2025. So
okay, we can
a whole year.
We can definitely cover that. We can definitely cover that.
Yeah.
So
we got a while.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes a year to get up to speed on some of these things, like
yeah, it does. We got plenty of time. Well, yeah,
plenty of time.
I think so.
Plenty of time. All right, good.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
I think that's about it for me tonight, guys. I don't like to be live longer than 2 hours because my dogs.
I need to get into bed early tonight. I got a really
long Steph
day tomorrow. So,
like a provenance for bones? What do you mean, Steph?
I think she's talking about the bone collector guy.
Oh,
like
that was
providence
crazy.
For bones.
That was crazy. I still think something's there, but we got all worked up.
It sounds like we got quite a number of things to look into. I might actually start doing a Google for Timothy Hazlitt.
Yeah, would you? That'd be great.
I think I might.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And then we'll schedule. I'll get with the girls, and we will schedule another live in a couple days and start our Idaho. I just gotta get all the templates set up and whatnot, because again, it's not just going over Idaho, it's going over the tools too. So it's like it's like a
Right.
twofer, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you. Thank you. And everybody's welcome here. And I difference opinion, I don't care. Like everybody's welcome here. I just want
Yeah.
like critical thinkers and people who I just want to surround myself with smart people. It makes me better.
Same. We also like to have a little bit of fun too sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at us. I mean,
Look,
ridiculous.
we're just silly, but we also get down to business.
Right. Right. All right, guys. I really appreciate you. We'll be live again in a couple days. My dog is freaking the fuck out because he knows I'm signing off. So I gotta go.
Okay. Good night,
Bye, y'all.
everybody.
Thank you. Thanks again, everybody.